Welcome to Like, Love, Share by Babblebox, the show where marketers and creators go behind the post to unpack what actually drives attention, trust, and impact on social. If you love chocolate, you don't want to miss this episode of Like, Love, Share by Babblebox. Today I'm joined by Noel Davison, Senior Communications Manager at Chocolonely, the storytelling force behind one of the boldest challenger brands in CPG, blending culture, activism, and scroll-stopping creativity to end exploitation in cocoa.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited. Today we have Noel Davison from Tony's Chocolonely, and this is an epic moment for us. So welcome to the show, Noel.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I know that you're coming off of a big high, and we will get into that from a very big event, very exciting. But let's start with telling everyone, because I'm sure influencers and brands are obsessed with your brand. So tell everyone how you got there, who you are, and yeah.
Well, hello, I'm Noelle. I am the Senior Communications Manager for Tony's Chocolonely US and Canada. I'm so glad. I think I have the best job in the entire world, which is sharing chocolate and talking about chocolate day in and day out. And furthermore, for a brand that is focused on impact even more than business. So at Tony's, we are on a mission to end exploitation in cocoa. I joined on that mission about 7 years ago, and my career started about 7 years ago. So if you put two and two together, I've been at Tony's for my entire career, which might point you in the direction of thinking I love it, which would be, in fact, true. When I started, I was doing truly everything as a marketing intern. Like, I was helping to coordinate our first ever Choco Truck tour, which, oh my goodness, that was a task in and of itself, to creating blog posts, managing our social media. And back in the day, it was just Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter posting 3 times a week, to sending influencers reactively, which was maybe 3 to 4 times a year. It was a much smaller, much scrappier company back then, when it was just me in my intern role and my boss at the time. And at some point along the way, we had a meeting coming up with leadership, and my boss said to me, "Hey, I haven't had a time to think about the website and how that's been performing lately. Shoot, I really wish I had something to present on that." And I was like, "Oh, actually, I'd been kind of bored recently. I wrote a 12-page report on what we could be doing better there." And ever since then, it's stuck. They haven't been able to get rid of me. And luckily, they've given me a lot of opportunities to develop, to try new things in any space that I had interest in, and to continue to grow. And I found that my personal interest is really in storytelling and how marketing intersects with culture. And the way to do that has largely been through social media, influencer work, PR, and other things in the way of comms, which has really helped me grow my career to where it is today.
That is amazing. And you bring up a great point, because I get students from colleges, they want to be influencers and they want to work at BattleBox. And I talk to every single person who writes me. And I always say, like, if you're looking for that job, you need to write the 12-page essay. Like, when I got my dream job, it was because I stalked the company and I did something completely outrageous. And I think, like, just sending your resume into doing that crazy thing is gonna get you the job. So congratulations. I'm going off script a little bit when you talk about leaning into culture, because
Yeah.
how do you do that? Like, brands get it right and you're getting it right. So
Thank
there's, like,
you.
I could count on my hand 5 brands. So how do you do it?
That's so kind. I really appreciate the compliment. I think it comes from an authentic love of culture and paying attention to what's going on there. They say for social managers, there's really no off time, and that's kind of true. And the reverse of that is everything that you enjoy doing gets to be work. So everything from reading romantasy novels in my free time, to keeping up with my favorite reality TV shows, to scrolling through my Instagram and TikTok feeds are things that I can apply in my work. It's part of being multidisciplinary and being able to pay attention to what is the world talking about? What are those lunch table conversations on a Monday morning? The things that people are so excited to share. And then how can we make Tony's a part of it? Sometimes that's something more serious, like paying attention to legislation that was passed. For instance, a few years ago, there was a law passed in Arkansas about reducing the age required to work, meaning that children as young as 11 could be working in scary places like meat processing factories, which is a really dark reality and something we were able to jump on and turn it into an empowering messages that aligns with Tony's, which was let's legalize child labor, said no one ever, with that scratched out and said Arkansas. And that comes back to our stance that child labor should not be something that's happening anywhere in the world today. And it was feed stopping. It was, I think, our best post of the entire year. And then on the other hand, last year, during the Super Bowl and Kendrick Lamar performing, we just knew the energy in every room was rumbling around that. The way I screamed when I heard the name Drake dropped, I knew we had to make a meme out of it. And we brought that back to our mission too by saying, this is how we feel calling out exploitation in the cocoa industry. And it resonated because people understood exactly what was happening in that moment. And this is a cause that so many people care about. It's something everyone can feel tied to because I don't think anyone actually does want to see that happening. So those kinds of things tend to resonate. They give me energy in my work, and I think they give energy back to our audience as well. So it's really just paying attention, staying tapped in, and quite frankly, having fun with it.
Having fun. Yeah. And so when you started, how many people were on the team? Was there like, it was like,
It was teeny tiny. I think I was employee number 9 in the US, which granted, we started in the Netherlands, so it was larger there. But the fact that we have something like 45 people on the team now, it feels like a very different company than when I started.
you're going to be at 300 in no time.
The next time we check in, we'll be
Yeah.
reporting back at 300, right?
Tell me, like, what do you attribute that growth to?
Yeah, that's a really good question. There's a lot of different factors, I think, down to having a really outstanding product. I mean, growing up in the US, I had a certain idea of what chocolate should taste like, and that was completely broken when I found Tony's and was like, wow, this is such a different product experience. So it's delicious. I think it really stands out on shelf. But also, I think there's a lot of our brand personality that resonates in a way other, and that's given us a leg up, especially in places like social media, where it's really a two-way conversation, which is so special versus many other channels where it's a brand talking at people, we're talking with
Uh,
people. Yes, exactly, a two-way conversation, which was really important to the brand when we were growing up and that company with 9 people in the US versus the 45 we have now, because for a long time, we had a no paid media policy right up until 2022. And that came from our journalistic background. We were founded by a journalist, fun fact. And we had this deep core belief that the best stories were going to be worth telling and were going to be spread. So we had to get really savvy at telling an interesting, compelling story in platforms where it didn't cost us to do that. And social media was one of those really special places. So we had this bold, feed breaking, scroll stopping thing about us that was really, I think, indicative of the challenger brands that we were and are, in that think of a mainstream brand. Most people aren't going to be saying the things I told you just moments ago we were saying on social media. It's something that's in
yeah.
some ways
Corporate is not going to allow them to get involved in that conversation.
no, exactly. But for us, we were able to be fluid and jump in and make something of it. And that really resonated with people because I think you can see the heart and soul of the brand in that. And that's been a real strength for us and something we haven't lost even in our now paid media days. Social media continues to function as a really important channel and somewhere that we make friends with individual consumers, like I know the names of some of our deepest fans, to influencers as well. And back from our no paid media days, let me tell you, it was something really special when someone chose to use their platform to talk about us. And we weren't blind to that. We really leaned in on it. And so we still have friends today from that era. Samantha Klein, for instance, on social media, she found us, man, probably before I started with the brand, even, which is really something special. And she's still with us today. I've met her in person on multiple occasions. She's come out to the office in New York, or Gabby and Clerico, the kind of people that see you on shelf and they post about it because they're genuinely so excited about your brand. And you can't give up on that. You've got to stay in touch with those people just like you would
Those are
finding
your
a new
support
best
band.
friend in your real life.
It's your club.
Exactly.
Get into clubs, but I'm going to say this because I work with a lot of CPG brands, and I just came across a brand called, I don't know how to pronounce it, Saws.
Yes.
You go into the chocolate aisle, it's all the same brown wall. And then you stop and you disrupt it. So, first of all, there's the color and the
Yeah.
fun and the character that you just are like, what is that? And you broke that. That's the first one. Second of all, it's the chunky block. It's bigger, it's bolder. So the colors are bolder, but then the product fits the color. right? It's not
Yeah.
right. So, and then there's the community. And I think the community, and I didn't know that about the storytelling and a journalist, and that makes sense. It all makes a story.
Yes,
So,
every element comes together and helps us build this brand that's all about storytelling, which is come into vogue, I think, quite recently, is people talking about how important storytellers are at brands, but it's been a part of Tony's all along.
yeah, yesterday I had a call and someone with a $200 million brand said, we sell our product, but we need an influencer intervention because no one knows who they buy the product, but they don't even know what they're buying.
Yeah.
They have to backpedal because they got market share and shelf space and all that, but no one even knows what they're buying. They just pick it up because they like the product. And
Yes.
crazy. All right. So talk to me about influencers. What works? What doesn't work? Give us I don't like, you're not going and paying a big influencer, right? So what works?
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, it was really a lot of organic seeding and waiting for someone to post about us and just pouring our love into them, paying attention, sending them chocolate out the gate, of course, but also paying attention to life moments. When someone had a baby, for instance, we would send them little tiny Tony's baby clothes along with some
Oh,
chocolate bars to celebrate and just being tuned in the way that you would with people in your own life and paying attention and making them feel like a friend because to us that's really what they were and on top of course being hugely important it's really been a channel that's helped us drive top of funnel awareness and with a certain credibility that ads can't get you, right? Because ads are impersonal and brand love has always been so important to Tony's that we feel like we want you to feel like you can reach out and touch the brand, like we're a person that you know and not just this non-breathing, non-feeling thing because there are so many people behind the brand and there's so much heart in it. And influencers have really helped us do that. Now, of course, we have a little bit more that we can do in terms of actual paid campaigns and I think what we really look for with that is resonance in terms of answering your question of what works and doesn't work. I think that's the most important thing to us. And that wasn't always clear. When we started in this work, we got direction from leadership that we really shouldn't work with people who have posted about any other chocolate brand before, which, as you can imagine, in the food space is quite difficult because a lot of people like chocolate. A lot of people like talking about chocolate. And it came back to the fact that we're a mission company at the end of the day, and we want people that resonate with our mission. But something I really fought for is there was a time for all of us before Tony's, before had our eyes open to what was happening in the cocoa industry and were able to lean in with our values and putting our money where our mouth is and our mouth where our money is in that way. The same is true for influencers. Just because they haven't known us before doesn't mean that they won't be excited about us when they meet us for the first time. So we really started looking at other factors and what's really important. And it came back to that storytelling, which has to look different for different campaigns. And I think some people would be really surprised by the way that we go about it because resonance is at the core. That's the red thread for us, but you might not always see it. For example, there's some folks we work with that really make sense for us. Eats by Nat, for instance, she's fantastic. She's a mukbanger. She makes it look really delicious on feed. Like you're sitting there thinking, I have to have a chocolate bar right now. And she's talking about the mission while she does it. So that just makes a lot of sense. Other people that might not initially make as much sense are, for instance, our friend Ophelia, whose handle on social media is ShoeLover99. I love that, by the way. And she's this adorable Southern mom who gives her tater tots, her audience, advice and is really about positivity and taking her audience by the hand, holding it and saying it's going to be okay. I'm here with you. This is the advice like I would want a mother to give me. And so what does chocolate have to do with that? You might not think a whole lot, but she really resonates with a certain audience. And when we were moving outside of our comfort zone, which is with the Whole Foods consumer, really where Tony's grew up, which is very metropolitan, she helped us reach someone different when we expanded into the Walmarts of the world and create a message that really sat with them in a way that was extremely authentic because people know the heart and soul of who Mama Tot, Ophelia, is, the way that they know the heart and soul of Tony's. And that's how they came to know us. Or someone like I mentioned earlier, Samantha Klein or our friend Johnny Carmack, they're design influencers and more specifically interior design, which what does a chocolate brand have to do with interior design
right.
influencers, right? But I mean, it's like you mentioned earlier, we stand out on the shelf because of our design. a lot of people actually pick us up simply because they see in a sea of sameness, Tony's is something different. And lucky for us, the packaging design happens to resonate with a lot of people who have this Gen Z style that is quirky and colorful. And they help us tell that story in a way of how Tony's fits in aesthetically, the story behind that aesthetic, which is really about our mission at the end of the day, and how we can fit into your home, which is really important with snacking products and the kinds of holiday items, for instance, that can look really good on the shelf and are also, of course, functional as well. And I think working in that way, doing the unexpected and breaking the boundaries of what a chocolate brand should be doing and who we should be working with has been a real strength for us.
It's so interesting how you talk about breaking into new markets because people don't think that way. I
Mm.
guess I wanna understand from you, are there any non-negotiables with an influencer? Like, this has to happen or we can't work with them. I mean, apart from the obvious, but
Yeah. Yeah, I think working together on that storytelling. Sometimes we're more hands on, sometimes we're more hands off. I think we also work really differently to other brands in that way. And I think and hope that's what influencers like about us and working with us, which is why we get so much repeat. A lot of times we leave the brief quite open. Some people like that, some people don't. For instance, when we launched Lil Bits, we said, hey, this is a snacking item. It's really delicious. We would love for you to touch on the fact that when you snack with little bits, we get a little bit closer to ending exploitation in cocoa. Other than that, pitch us your creative ideas and run with it because
but
we
you
know
asked for
ultimately.
concepts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we know that at the end of the day, the influencers know their audience better than we ever could. And so we trust on that wisdom and knowledge to bring us ideas that they think will resonate rather than us trying to push something we think is good, but ultimately might not be the fit with their audience. Some people feel better with guidelines and ideas. So we always have a selection of things we think might work, a little menu to choose from, but largely what we find is people like to come with that creative take because ultimately it feels better for them too if they're creating something that feels organic and right for them. And largely we approve those concepts. Sometimes we need to do a little bit of workshopping and we ask to hop on a
Right.
call and bounce ideas off of one another. But I think that's the big non-negotiable is creating a storyline that works and having the flexibility to do that dance with us.
So I'm gonna move now to the physical because you just came out. So tell us about the exciting event you just did, but also the physical concept. Why does that work? It was your first really big event. Tell us more about and how do influencers play into that?
Yeah, thanks for opening that question up. We did just last weekend have an immersive all red pop up with the artist CJ Hendry. It was first of its kind for us in so many ways. One of those ways is working with an artist, which was a huge privilege that someone like CJ Hendry would want to work with a brand like Tony's. It's something she doesn't do all of the time, but again, like the way that we build these long term relationships with influencers, it was very the same with her. We approached her in 2021, say, and we're just like, hey, we really love you. We love the way that you break the mold in art and do things that are unexpected and break the rules. It feels like it really resonates with Tony's. What can we do together? And at the time, it was helping with an exhibition she had called Blonde, which was celebrating her hyper-realistic drawings of wigs. And she had created a speakeasy concept where the front of it was a chocolate shop and people were able to sample Tony's in custom CJ wrappers. And then behind it was a full salon ready for your
Oh,
wigs to try on and to see the artwork and potentially buy it. And from there, we just kept leaning in and trying to find the opportunities to work together. Luckily, then one day we said, hey, we have the budget to do something. What we're really looking to do is create something breakthrough because that is of course so hard to do. They say everybody scrolls through enough social media on a daily basis that it is the length of the Statue of Liberty, right? So to stand out in that is so difficult. CJ,
yeah.
that's her expertise is creating something that really stands out that makes you want to be a part of it. Live events are a great way to do that on little budget and create something noticeable online, but also incredibly memorable in person. And we told her, listen, something that's really important for us here is to get our mission message across. What our focus is right now is on the brand color red. We've just codified it with Pantone. So we have our first official color. After
Oh,
20
that's
years
awesome.
is kind of crazy. It's the first time
Right.
we're doing that and having it standardized. But it's really meaningful to us. The reason we chose red for our initial bar is because it's alarming, it stands out on shelf, it gets your attention, like you said, in a sea of browns and dull colors, and we draw it back to our mission to end exploitation in cocoa. So we said, we want to create something that really celebrates that and helps us tell that story. And she said, that's great. That's very Tony's centric. We need to create something that people are going to want to be a part of. And she caused us to really push our boundaries and step outside of our comfort zone, which is exactly what we needed. So she said, listen, we've got to offer something absolutely crazy that's going to draw people in. What if we sold your chocolate bars for a single dollar? Because you can't get anything for a dollar these days. It
Right.
makes our chocolate accessible, but we also said that's really brilliant because it allows us to tell this story that for a dollar you can't get anything, right? But some people can't even get a dollar. The farmers that produce cocoa earn 78 cents a day. Unbelievable. Not just low by our standards, but well under the poverty line, the World Bank's extreme poverty line, which is set at over $2 a day. So it allows us to tap into that mission messaging while creating something that's very desirable. On top of that, we wanted to gamify it. CJ is all about unlocking a childlike
Right.
sense of joy, which of course chocolate does too. And so she came back with this idea that not only are the chocolate bars going to sell for a dollar, but they'll be in this mystery bag. On it, there's a poem about ending exploitation in cocoa. And inside, when you open it, you're getting a mystery flavor of Tony's, which is exciting, of course. On top of it, you also could get an additional surprise. And that was things like CJ Hendry prints, custom basketballs, plushies, hats, all kinds of things that made it feel like this kind of carnival. And some people walked away with multiple prints or a hat and also a t-shirt and also a
Awesome.
keychain that
And
they're
she
rocking.
designed everything.
Yes, yes. And it was all exclusive to this pop-up, which I think made it quite desirable, that level of exclusivity. And that it's, of course, very, very fun things. They're all themed around Valentine's Day. So it felt very of the moment where people are with culture.
So
And
how many people were there? Was it like private invite only, or you like tell us about that?
really good question. So we were in the Shopify space. Shout out to Shopify for hosting us. That's
Go
where we
Canada.
launched our
Sorry,
platform.
Katie.
We love them, and their space is amazing. They let us completely change it into this all red exhibit. And so, what they're all about is creating events for the public. So, from Friday to Sunday, we were open roughly 11 to 5 for anyone to come through. But we also intentionally set aside on Thursday night for an opening night event that was invite only for influencers and media, which was the biggest of its kind we've ever done. There were roughly 350 people who attended. There was a DJ playing music that felt like it was connected to Tony's the brand. There was a spread by Eddie's Grocer, which was unbelievably delicious, and people could participate in the concept. The first mystery bag was free, and then on top of it, just like anyone else, the VIP attendees could buy more for more chances to win. And at a price point of $1, that's pretty darn
Yeah.
approachable for especially the level of prize value that you're getting. A single Tony's bar retails from anywhere from $4.95 to $6.99 on shelf. So that in and of itself, we think was a pretty good deal. And on top of that, everyone was able to walk away with a special VIP bag to help show off what was happening at the concept. And we're really proud of the way that went because I truly would be surprised if there was any New Yorker that said they didn't see their feed covered in red that weekend. There were so many posts that came out of it. And I think everyone that was there paid such attention to detail in showing off all the elements of the space, the work that CJ had done, and really showing off that brand color that does the heavy lifting on storytelling for us. So we were really excited the way that it turned out. I think opening night created a lot of buzz, such that there were 4-hour lines over the weekend, which was, first of all, really humbling that people were willing to wait that long in record cold for our pop up, and really speaks to what CJ said about creating something people want to be a part of. Of course, we wouldn't have wanted people to be waiting 4 hours if we could help it, but unfortunately, there are things like codes around how many people you can have for fire safety and things we had to abide by, so that stopped us up a little bit. But mostly it was really memorable for people who came by. They were sharing incredible images and stories online about how excited they were with what they got and how much they learned about Tony's, how impacted they were by the space. Of course, some people didn't love it as much and would say, I bought 20 bars and I didn't walk away with a prize. And, they might have been forgetting the fact that they got 20 bars for $20, which would normally be $140. But that's the point of the brand, too. The same thing happens with our bar molds and with our calendar. The mystery bag concept is unequally divided, just like the chocolate industry. Not everyone gets the same thing, and it helps us tell that story. And yes, we get complaints about the unequally divided bar and how you can't share it perfectly, about our countdown calendar, our version of an advent calendar, where there's a day of chocolate missing, but you get two before and you also get two on Christmas Eve. So ultimately, you walk away with a bigger prize than you don't. Same thing with the pop up concept. And even if people are initially reacting negatively to it, that sparks conversation. And for us, conversations about inequality in cocoa are the right kind of conversations that we should be having. And with feeds full of red and comment sections full of discourse, I think we made that story unmissable with this concept.
Amazing. Kudos.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Brilliant marketing. And it's funny because as a marketer, I always learn stay away from red in marketing, stay away from
Yes.
red in marketing, never have anything in red. And here you are. And red works, right?
Breaking the
Um,
mold, trying to do something in some ways different because they say to steer away from it, and also in some ways very the same because so many food brands and brands in general are red, but ours is different, and that helps us stand out.
it's amazing. I'm going to ask, I know my favorite. What's your favorite flavor bar?
Well, I'm gonna do something that is a little against the grain here and say my favorite product from Tony's is actually not a bar. It's our Little Bits, and actually, I have some right here. I was just snacking on them. So
Okay.
these I mentioned a little bit earlier. They're snackable, they're bite-sized. This particular flavor, some of the pieces are filled with crunchy caramel, others are filled with crunchy cookie. I particularly am a big caramel fan, so the crunch that comes with it and just being able to nosh on delicious chocolate and caramel, my gosh, it satisfies a craving for me. After being with the brand 7 years, I pretty much put down chocolate bars and was like, I'm kind of tapped out. I've eaten enough of these. I don't actually crave them anymore. And when Little Bits came out, I can't. If I'm telling you, this bag will be gone by the end of the day. So if you haven't tried them yet, definitely you should. They're absolutely delicious.
I will tell you, my 14-year-old came. He's like, Ma, I found the most amazing products. And I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I know Tony's. You know, Tony's? I'm like, yeah.
Love that it was shared like an insider secret.
Yeah.
Like, I just found this new thing.
Yeah.
Okay, what are each of your favorites?
It's salted caramel. Yeah. I'm a
You
caramel.
can't beat the caramel.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to move on to the last question I ask everyone. It sometimes makes people feel uncomfortable. I don't know. Answer it, don't answer it, but name an influencer you love to follow, but hate to admit that you do.
Ooh, first of all, I love a question that pushes the boundaries and makes you uncomfortable. So I'm obsessed with this question. I would say actually all of the ladies from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, all of them. Some people, I think, confuse following for support. I can't say I support all of them, but I can say I am thoroughly entertained by that show. Probably the best thing I've seen on television in I don't know how long. And the fact that I can essentially subscribe for updates in between seasons and have that drama to look forward to when we get there. I mean, I've never been so sad in my entire life.
I love it. Thank you so much. Where could everyone find you? I'm sure everyone knows you, but just let's put it out there.
Thank you for offering. I mean, I'm behind our social media, so follow us at Tony's Chocolonely _US on all social platforms. Or if you want to connect with me personally, you can find me as Abigail Noel Davison on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.